Hey everyone, welcome to this video on how to make sure you have the right data measurements in place. The sort of measurements that get you heard, get you understood, and adds value to the people that you're presenting to. So we're into step 6, or the influence factor 6, around evaluation. So let's get into what I want to share to you about how to make sure that you have impactful or influential evaluation. So the first question I got to think is got to ask you is like, what are you evaluating? What are you evaluating? Inputs, activities, outputs, or outcomes? Because if you're just about inputs and activities, people get it that you're doing stuff. But at the end of the day, you've got to start measuring what are the outcomes of what you are doing, i.e. your input and your activities. It's not even so much your outputs. It's more about making sure that our evaluation is focused on what are we getting? What's the end result? An example is, you go to a training and the training is the activity. The output of that training is basically you get to learn something, but so what? What is the outcome of what you learn? You've got to start evaluating outcome, not input, activity, and just outputs. The second thing I need you to think about in terms of evaluating is how are you evaluating in a way that's challenging your hypothesis, what you think is happening, or what you think, there's assumptions that you're making. So really, how deep are you going? So, when you segment data, for example, how deep are you going in terms of mining that data for insights, for intelligence, right? We've talked about that early on in one of the other videos. And number 3 is really, how are you keeping score? Are you going back to this point 1 of what are you evaluating? Are you keeping score and look how busy we've been, or look how many outcomes we're getting? So I want you to start thinking about that as we get into this. So when we go about question 1, why? And it's kind of like, I always ask people, length of service. Okay, why? Why does evaluating length of service really matter? What's the big deal? How is it going to help the organization be more successful? What insights do you want to gain from it? Or D&I, diversity and inclusivity. When we think about that, why do we measure it? What is it that we're wanting to measure? We measure diversity, which is different to inclusivity. So we want to know, why does it matter to the leadership team? How does it help us by understanding and evaluating our D&I, help us be more successful? Or, looking at employee engagement. It's not just about who's engaged, who's sitting on the fence, and, who's not engaged. Why? What are we trying to evaluate here? Yes. Why does engagement matter? Why does it matter to evaluate where we're at? So I want you to start asking those questions, because when you start to ask those questions, now you can look at your data and start thinking, okay, this is the reason why employee engagement matters. Why does it matter? Because it's about helping, the overall performance of the organization. It's helping people engage and feeling passionate about what they do in their work, in their team, in their function or department. So I want you to start challenging what you're evaluating, why you're evaluating it. Because look at it this way: you have on one level added value, HR value, and then there's a level of intelligence and credibility that you get. And we don't want descriptive evaluation. And I get it, from a compliance, we need to do it. But this is really just answering the question as why. What's something, why? Well, it's what happened, really. What happened last month? It's just giving us a description. Or is it diagnostic evaluation? It's telling us why something happened. So now it is more interesting. It's not just what happened, it's now I know why something happened. Then I kind of move to the next level of evaluation, where I'm now starting to think, okay, so now I'm starting to get another, it's telling me what's likely. And then I get to the final one where it's really about this. So ultimately, I want to know, what's likely to happen. Yes, so if we keep doing what we keep doing, I need some predictive and some prescriptive evaluating going on. So I can look forward, not look backwards. So again, thinking about where you are at in terms of how you're evaluating. Are you just bringing to the table descriptive data, diagnostic, or is it about being prescriptive and predictive? Because I guarantee you the predictive and prescriptive stuff is where the credibility and the value really lies for HR when it comes to evaluating what we're doing. Okay, so really that's where we want to be. We want to be at that top end where we are getting that prescriptive, we are getting a call to action. And it's like, this is what's going to eliminate the problem in the future. So I want you to think about that. Now I want you to also think about, like, how are you keeping score? So when I think about, keeping score is and evaluating, when we evaluate effectively, it lets us know which direction we need to travel. So it's kind of like keeping score. We keep score. Why? Because we need to know how we need to play the game differently. And it's like that compass, isn't it? If we look at a compass, it tells us which direction to travel in. So we need to keep a compelling scorecard. So what is a compelling scorecard? Well, first of all, everyone needs to see it. So that way, like people can start talking about it. When we think about it being visual versus visual, is it in an easy place? Because is it easy in an easy place, and is it easy to understand? Do I have to like look at it forever and try to figure out what's going on? Because that's, when we think about it being visually understanding, is it engaging? Does it, kind of hold our attention around relevant issues? And is it practical, easy to administer and update? So we think about compelling scorecards, we think about that compass, we think about these things. And this probably is not the best, although it's kind of informative. It's got lots of information on it, but it's not quite what we want in terms of a compelling dashboard, because it requires explanation. Even this one. And these are dashboards, right? So these are real life dashboards, but you've got to think about, are they compelling? And they're not, because they don't pass that 3-second rule test. I need to know within 3 seconds, am I winning or am I losing? I don't have time to figure this all out and get into lengthy debate. I want it to be compelling. So I want to know in 3 seconds, am I winning or am I losing? Simple. Here, I can look, am I winning in customer? Yes. Am I okay in employee? Yes. Am I losing when it comes to, yeah, you get it, right? It's the traffic light system. Within 3 seconds, I know that we've got a problem with the employee. We're doing great when it comes to making money. But when we think about this, is not, this is the 3-second rule stuff that you need to get. Again, there's speed dials. And I put in at the bottom here, you can see the smiley faces just in case, people find it difficult to read, or if you didn't want to put, the headings of what it is. But this clearly you can see, this, so time to hire, fill a vacancy, obviously is impacting where we are from an employee retention problem, but employee engagement and training, it seems to be going good. 3 seconds, you get it, no big deal, right? So when we think about this, all we want you to do is be clear on why and the what. That's what I'm suggesting to you. I also want you to think about, how you're evaluating your data. Is it that hindsight stuff? Is it descriptive? Is it foresight? Is it giving us any prediction or prescription? So it's looking forward, not looking backwards at that descriptive stuff. And then are you keeping a compelling HR scorecard or dashboard? Does it pass the 3-second rule? So that's really what we want to be thinking about. And it's just a real short, just to get you thinking about how you're evaluating, what you're evaluating, and where you need to be thinking about, or what rather you need to be thinking about when it comes to evaluation. Good. Next video, I'm going to be talking to you about how to use HR analytics to have an influential HR narrative. So it's all about the N. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and hopefully see you on the next video. Take care for now.